Hey guys, Lyra Linx here, and today I want to talk about the new Sword and Shield trailer that came out today. Yesterday, while I was playing Pokemon Rumble Rush, I had mentioned wanting to do a video like this, where I talk about my thoughts about Sword and Shield from what's been revealed or leaked so far. And then I just happened to wake up to see that there was a trailer out, so I figured I would talk about that and include all of my other thoughts in with those. So first of all, the leak of Giganta Maxing turned out to be true, and this concept to me seems like it's a totally recycled version of Mega Evolution. It's just Mega Evolution, but with gigantic Pokemon. The Pokemon get even larger than in Dynamaxing, and they sort of change appearance slightly. And to me, this is just completely ridiculous. It's a new game, and they shouldn't make an old concept seem like something new by disguising it like this. It just makes me kind of unhappy. I think that Dynamaxing would have been enough. Gigantamaxing, I just don't understand how battles are going to work. It seems like if a Pokemon becomes completely gigantic, there's no way you could win unless you Gigantamaxed yourself. But, I mean, the exact mechanics of that are yet to be seen. I just think that it's a recycled gimmick, and I would have liked to see some newer content. In this new trailer, on the slightly brighter but also equally as disappointing in some ways side, we are introduced to 3 new Pokemon. And I would have to say that I probably kind of like 1 out of 3 of them, which is pretty bad. Like I said in my first video, to me it seems like Pokemon Sword and Shield style is so completely different from any other Pokemon game. There are people who thought that Unova was a huge art style switch, and to me, this is even more flooring. To me, Pokemon don't exactly look like Pokemon anymore. And that goes for this new fairy-type Pokemon, Alcremie, or however you're going to pronounce it, I have no idea, that just came out. It's very cute. It looks like a little strawberry cream creation, but it kind of reminds me of something that comes out of a Magical Girls anime rather than an actual Pokemon. I can't say that I don't find it adorable and like the design, and even kind of like the Gigantamax, even though that one's a little weird. It just turns into like a gigantic layer cake. But it is pretty cute, and I'm a sucker for things that are cute, even though it doesn't look like it fits in with the Pokemon universe at all. Next up is another Pokemon that kind of confirms one of these older leaks that was talking about the evolutionary lines of the starters and a couple new Pokemon and concepts. It predicted Gigantamaxing, which already made it seem credible, and it also talked about this electric Corgi Pokemon. So now it seems like a lot of that could be credible, and maybe I'll look at that in another video. But I feel like a lot of people have already talked about it in theirs, so maybe I'll just leave it to other PokeTubers. However, Yamper, this is kind of why I said I only really like 1 out of 3 of them. I don't dislike Yamper entirely. I just feel, again, like it doesn't fit in with the style of Pokemon. The eyes and just like the eyes especially just kind of throw me off somehow. It doesn't look like a Pokemon. I just feel like after a certain point, we're getting close to 1,000 Pokemon. There aren't going to be as many ideas anymore, and they aren't all going to fit into this universe, in my opinion. I do like Corgis. I do think that it's really cute with its little tongue hanging out, and a Corgi Pokemon is a really cute concept. But part of me is still torn because I feel like things could have been so different from this game, and it seems like some stuff just really doesn't fit together, and I can't entirely piece together in my mind why that is, but I just really feel other people's disappointment. I've been watching so many videos regarding Pokemon Sword and Shield and people's opinions, and there are so many people disappointed for so many reasons. And I'm starting to agree with all of it, but I'll get into that a little bit more going through. Finally, we were introduced to another new Pokemon whose name that I'll probably butcher. I never know how to say half of the stuff until I hear it pronounced in the anime or something. But we have Dural Udon? I don't even know. I guess it's going to be a steel dragon, and that's kind of cool, but this thing honestly just looks like a giant staple remover to me, and it doesn't remind me of a dragon at all. I don't see how it exactly fits into this universe. I I think that it could have had a really cool design, but it all just kind of looks like an amalgamation of a bunch of different pointy objects, and it just looks really bulky and awkward. I don't really know how to describe it. I'm not a huge fan of it, and I don't know if it'll have any evolutions or pre-evolutions that could save it, but as it stands, I'm kind of shaky on it. Again, it's just like Pokemon is running out of ideas. People have said it for years. What happens when they completely run out of ideas? And I feel like this is probably the Pokemon game that I've least looked forward to in a while. Whoops, I also just realized that I totally missed out on one of the new Pokemon in the trailer. I counted Yamper as a new one, but technically we've kind of seen this one before already with E3 and people playing through the demos. But the actual new third Pokemon is called Roly Coly, and I guess it's supposed to be something like a steam engine Pokemon or something like that because of its ability steam engine slash heat proof. It's a rock type Pokemon and it doesn't look like anything special at all to me. I don't really like the design. It just looks like another gigantic clump of rock with an eye, like we haven't done that 1,000 times over. It looks like a combination to me kind of Golem and Roggenrola. And it's just really disappointing. This is not the content that I want from Pokemon. I feel like if you're gonna release a trailer for everybody to see, maybe you should try to show off some of your coolest ones instead of some of these lame ones that I'm not really into, but that's just my opinion, and I'm sure that I'll get hated on for it, but it's just how I feel about this overall. The next portion of the video that the trailer goes into talks about the gym challenge. And while I'm very happy that the gym challenge is back, I can't say that I enjoy all of the designs of the gym leaders. Like, I really roasted Milo in my first video, and he is awkward to me. But then there are gym leaders like Nessa, who the internet is looting, but she is a very beautiful looking character. I love her design, and I'm excited for characters such as this. They also show this chairman who seems like he's kind of hyping you up in this big stadium and talking about what's going on. He's called Chairman Rose, and I have to say I really like his design too. He's kind of attractive, not bad. I'm not sure if she's supposed to be involved in the gym challenge a different way or if she's an actual gym leader, but there's also the introduction of Oleanna, and her design, I kind of like it. I like her long hair and her outfit's pretty cool, but she has such a disinterested look on her face. She seems like she doesn't really care about what's going on around her, and it makes me wonder about the personality of these characters. One thing that really ropes me into Pokemon, aside from just the Pokemon themselves, is when there is a good mix of characters in a story. I like looking at the personalities of the different gym leaders. I like looking at the personalities of even NPCs, your rival character, and so on. Speaking of the rival character, though, I am hoping that Hop is going to be more than just a little boy chasing after Leon. And I hope that he has his own aspirations and so on, but I feel like that's not going to happen, and I'm afraid that Pokemon Sword and Shield aren't going to have as great of stories as past games that really got me into Pokemon again in a new, exciting way. For me, Pokemon X and Y really started to set the bar for storytelling. I was really interested in the stories, and they seemed a little bit darker than usual even, and it really drew me in. Pokemon Ultra Moon and also regular Sun and Moon, they had great stories as well. And if Pokemon Sword and Shield can't live up to the storytelling that the previous games have put out there, I don't think I'm going to enjoy Pokemon Sword and Shield very much, because a game for me is more than just skipping through dialogue. I see so many people skip past text because they just want to get into the gameplay, and while I love that as much as the next person, a story really does matter to me. I want to read every word, understand what's going on, get into the lore. And that'll be probably the most disappointing thing to me if Pokemon Sword and Shield can't live up to this aspect in my mind. Getting back to what I was saying about version exclusives, apparently for Pokemon Sword you get Bee, who is a fighting type expert. I really like her design as well. I feel like Pokemon Sword and Shield is very aware of being somewhat inclusive. There are quite a great deal of darker skinned characters in this. But I'm happy that Pokemon is kind of taking a step in this direction. I love me dark skinned babe characters. They are great. And I like her design overall. I like her cute little bow, but she also looks really tough. She's got her knee covers, and I don't know, she's just adorable. And she's not wearing any socks or shoes either, so she looks like she's just ready to go. However, I do have to say that I prefer the Pokemon Shield gym leader, the ghost type expert Alistair. I can't tell if this is supposed to be a dude. I think it's a guy. He's got on these cute little checkered shorts, and he looks all spooky, wearing a mask and little suspenders. I love absolutely everything about this design. And also, if you know me, you know that ghost-type Pokemon are my top 3 favorites. So I mean, I can't help but want to fight against a ghost-type user a little bit more. It also helps that the first Pokemon Alistair sent out in the trailer was Mimikyu, who I love so much. So I think I'm still leaning towards buying the Shield game overall. The final part of the trailer focuses on Giganta Maxing, which I already talked about. I feel like it's just a concept that's already been used, and I'm not the biggest fan of it, but there it is. And then it says that Pokemon Sword and Shield are releasing worldwide on November 15th. Despite all of the controversy of this game, I still will be purchasing it because I feel like I can't fully judge everything about it until I've seen it all for myself. But if Pokemon sort of goes on this downward spiral, I feel like I might not want to be supporting this anymore if they just feel like they can put whatever they want out for us to consume, whether it's great or not. I also want to talk about another Pokemon that wasn't in the trailer, but that's kind of been leaked. People are talking about Impidimp, and according to this website, it says that Pokemon Sword and Shield fans are loving the mischievous new addition, Impidimp. And I don't understand why people love this thing at all. So if I've got this right, I heard that it was Fire Fairy type, which is a typing that I've actually been hoping for since the release of the Fairy type, because Fairy and Fire are my 2 favorite typings, and I just really wanted to see what they would be like together. But then I saw this design, and it was just really disappointing. It does look like a little imp, this little devil, but it's just not that appealing design-wise to me. It seems very basic, and it looks really scrawny and doesn't seem to fit into the universe, as I've already complained about a lot, and I'm sorry. But it's just like ugly to me. It's not really my taste in Pokemon, I suppose. So I'm not the hugest fan of this. I also don't know if I've really talked about my opinions on the National Dex myself. I feel like I'm not as angry as some people are. I think that it kinda sucks, maybe, that we can't catch all of these Pokemon, but I can understand why they'd want to have a greater focus on the Pokemon that they have in-game. The same thing happened with Unova, except at the end you were able to catch a bunch of different Pokemon. And I feel like maybe people wouldn't be as angry if Sword and Shield would have taken this approach instead. It probably would have caused a lot less conflict, but with so many Pokemon in-game, It seems like it would be hard to work around. Then again, I don't really know because I don't know a lot about programming or anything else. People have also been complaining a lot about the animation of Sword and Shield, and while this is something that I also don't really know a lot about, I can say that based on a fanfic Wingle animation done by the Big Daddy Gorilla, that if a person who is in their first year of animation can do a better animation of Wingles flying around than the actual Pokemon team, that maybe the animation is pretty bad, and I can see where people are coming from. I do have to say, though, that I do find the backgrounds in this game to be really beautiful. Some people don't really like those as much either and think that they should be better, but I kind of like the general design. In my first review of this, looking at the first trailer, I mentioned how I really liked how everything was looking, and I really do. It looks beautiful to me, and I can't pretend like I don't think that it's good just because other people are saying that they think it should be better. I'm also waiting anxiously to see what the evolutions of our starters are going to look like. I want to know far in advance so I can make my decision about which one I want. Because the evolutions really do matter a lot. They can change my opinion entirely. Who knows? Maybe Sobble won't be my Pokemon of choice after I see what the others look like. You never know. But for now, Sobble is where I sit. Anyway, those are just my general opinions. If you have a different opinion, I completely respect that. And maybe it would be something fun that we can talk about together in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts about these new Pokemon are, and this game as a whole. Do you think that it's going to be worth the $60 price tag? Or do you think that a lot more content should be included if we have to pay that much now? I personally am kind of nervous about spending so much money on this game, as opposed to spending the usual $40. I usually am okay with that, I can understand that, I get my money's worth, but I'm a little bit anxious with all the critiques that this game has been receiving. But who knows? I want to keep an open mind and play this game and enjoy the experience. And who knows what it'll end up being like. In the end, I'm sure there will still be a lot of good content, and I really hope that people take the opinions of these Pokemon fans to heart. The hashtag bring back the national dex and everything that everybody's saying. I feel like Game Freak and the Pokemon Company could benefit as a whole from really listening to their fans, so I hope that this will be the case. You never know. Anyway, that's it for this video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more content, and I really hope to see you in another video. Bye!